Verse 5. Then Jacob set out from Beersheba. The sons of Israel carried Jacob, their father, their little ones, and their wives in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent to carry him. Okay, so here they are now on their way. They're setting out. Beersheba happened. That promise of God, go down. It happened, verse 4, the previous few verses. Now the sons of Israel is carrying Jacob, their father. Okay, so both names used here. Because there's still a lot of Jacob in him, but now he's Israel. And this is the respect of, for the people there in the desert on the way to the promised land, they are Israel. Okay, so Israel is now coming down to Egypt, like Israel is now going out of Egypt. Out of Israel I've called my son, out of Egypt I've called my son, Jesus. Right, and so now they're carrying, I mean it makes sense that, so both, well, I mean just to say it makes sense they're carrying him because he's old and he's not going to walk, you know, right, and as well it makes sense that both names are used because this is who he was, and the grace of God changed him into Israel. Okay, so God changed him, like God changed this family into a nation, not they themselves. God who sent them down to Egypt to become a nation. Same way, Jacob, the name, shows he was not worthy of anything, but now God changed him and now is Israel. And so this is well a name play that Moses is using here to point out those very important things. Very important biblical truths. So yeah, the little ones, the wives, everyone in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent. Because I mean, most likely Joseph told his father is old, kind of, so not only for stuff, but as well to carry his father, who is old. Verse 6, they also took their livestock and their goods, which they had gained in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his offspring with him. His sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his sons' daughters. All his offspring he brought with him into Egypt. So yes, as Pharaoh told him, as ultimately then through Pharaoh Joseph as well, they brought everything, what the livestock, the goods, everything they gained in the land of Canaan. But remember, there was stuff that they gained outside of the land of Canaan, and there was a whole problem with Dinah that they all the inhabitants of the city that they killed and what they took from there. So it's not now a counting of everything. Just this is what they got in the land of Canaan, what God ultimately gave them. They're taking all of that back too. So all of this doesn't matter where they got to from it. Now it's counted because they were living in the land of Canaan. Now it's counted as if it's only coming from the land of Canaan, and they are taking that now with them. The sons, the daughters, and the sons' daughters. All of this, all of the people, right? All the offspring. He brought everything. No one was left now in Canaan. Okay, no one. They all came down to Egypt. So as well, it's not as if there's some of this Jacob's family left there, which is now might be a threat to, or they need to handle in a different way. Yes, sure, the Edomites and then those people, God's going to speak to them and say, you know, you need to treat them differently because they come from Lot, or they come from Esau or etc. Edomites. Okay, so they had to treat them, the Ammonites, differently. But it's a one thing to treat sons of Lot or sons of Esau differently. It's a totally different thing to treat their own siblings differently. Okay. So if there were some of these people of Jacob left there, then now the people on the way to the promised land could have had the question, what if some of them were left there? Maybe they became a nation there, and now we are going to fight against our own blood. That's not going to work. It's like a civil war kind of idea going on. So he said, no, that will not be a good idea. And so therefore Moses is making a very strong point here to say that they all came down. None of them were left there. They all came down. So when you go back there, you're not going to fight against any of your own blood. Need not fear of that. Verse 8. Now these are the names of the descendants of Israel who came into Egypt. Jacob and his sons, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn. And the sons of Reuben, Anak, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon, Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zoar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. Okay, the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah, Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. And the sons of Perez were Hezron and Amul. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Puva, Job, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun, Seret, Elon, and Jalil. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Padan Aram, together with his daughter Dinah. Altogether his sons and his daughters numbered 33. Right now, so yeah, here's just again a list of the names. Okay, Jacob, and then all 6 boys, that were born from Leah, and then their children. And one girl is mentioned. Well, actually, sort of, kind of two. There's mentioned that they were the sons of a Canaanite woman. Now, yeah, we actually don't know any about this. It's kind of an interesting story that Simeon here is mentioned, the son of a Canaanite woman. And we don't really get any other information about it. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of that. But then there's Levi, and the sons of Levi, and sons of Judah, and Issachar, and all of them. Aaron, Onan is mentioned, but as well mentioned that they died there. Okay, so all of them were born there in land of Padan Aram. And they are now on, this is how many they became, 30, ultimately sons and daughters, 33. Now here's just a question, a mathematical question, and very often again people like to say, but there are mathematical problems in the Bible. If you count the number of people here, you don't get really to 33, right? Do you count Aaron or none? Then you get to 30. Not if you count them, but you don't count Dinah, then you get to 33. If you don't count them and you count Dinah, then you get to 32. Then you need to count Jacob in it for us to make it 33 again. So, but then why Jacob not count for the others? And what about the other daughters? I mean, we've seen before that they mentioned it's like these guys had other sons and daughters, more daughters. No, I mean other sons maybe, but they had more daughters at least. And so in this case, seemingly, if you count Dinah, then you don't count those two, then you have 32, which is a problem. If you don't count her, then it seems as well a problem, because then it would be 34. Or you discount those two. Now, what is a simple solution to this? A simple solution is just culture. Although Dinah is mentioned, although Dinah played a big role there in the story of Shechem, now remember Shechem, they in general didn't count women, okay? So they are there, they're mentioned, but they're not counted. We see this often, and even in Jesus' days, right? There were so many men, many people, okay? Because they did not count the women or the children under a certain age. And when they counted the people there in the desert, as these people would have known, they did not count the women. Okay, so they're mentioned, but they're not counted. So there are actually 2 women mentioned, the Canaanite woman and Dinah, but they are not ultimately counted under. Yes, they went down as well with their daughters, number 33, sons and daughters. So they had daughters that went with not only, if it's only one daughter, then sons and daughter, as well. So the very simple solution, it's a cultural thing, they did not count the girls. So Dinah's not counted, Aaron Onan is counted, and therefore we get to 33. Okay, this will as well explain ultimately later where there's a 66 going, they're all in total 66, but 70, but 66 went down idea, okay? Because, this 2 and then the Joseph's 2 boys, they didn't go down. Verse 16. The sons of Gad, Ziphion, Hagi, Shuni, Isbon, Eri, Aradi, and Areli. The sons of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Beriah, with Sarah their sister. And the sons of Beriah, Heber and Malchiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bore to Jacob 16 persons. Okay, now in this case it's actually an interesting thing, a very interesting thing. Like the whole idea of Simeon with his Canaanite wife, we don't really get any backstory on that. And the same way here we have this daughter, only the 3rd woman being mentioned, we don't right? We don't understand really why she's mentioned as Sarah, their sister. Where's the Sarah? We don't get any other information about her. We have absolutely no idea why we understand why Dinah was mentioned, right? Because of the whole Shechem story. But why was Sarah mentioned? What the heck is going on here? And there's no other, as far as I know, biblical information concerning her. There must have been something that she did. There must have been, maybe she married someone who then became part of the clan, okay, as kind of like one of the sons or the grandsons kind of idea, maybe something like that. And therefore now he is playing a role and so forth. Therefore actually not she's being counted, but he is being counted. Because in this case, to get to 16 persons, you have to count her. Otherwise the numbers, they don't add up in this case. So although culturally they would not have counted her, but I think again a simple explanation would be that in this case there might be like something where she got married to someone, like later on when there was this girls who had the man with no daughters, no sons, and when he died, the daughters now get the land, and that this whole discussion with Moses, okay, can they get the land, and whom are they allowed to marry, can they marry out of the tribe, where will the land go to, those kinds of questions they had to discuss, and where ultimately they were kind of counted because he had no sons. So now in this case maybe it's going to be something like this going on. We know that they had this explanation of the girls there, so maybe that is kind of what's pointing out here. That can be a solution, and I kind of feel it's most likely kind of something that happened here. So in this case she is counted, but we personally don't know all of that. We don't have that information. It's not mentioned in the Bible, but that she's counted as one of them, unlike Dinah who's not counted, is exceptional.